Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connecting with the Stars. I'm Mary Edwards here with the beautiful, smart, creative Glenda, Dawson, who is here today to talk about. We're just going to talk about a lot of different things today. But anyway, lovely to see you as always.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Lovely to be here. I'm blessed that, I'm here with you again. And I'm blessed that they're here also watching us. I feel very honored, very honored. Thank you.
Well, you know what? I do too. And I think, we could start talking about that a little bit. Well, first of all, let me say just a few things about Glenda, because I could go on for 3 hours about all her amazing accomplishments. But I will read a few here. I know her. Glenda is the owner and founder of Glenda's Magical Creations Spiritual Center in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and is an ordained non-denominational minister. She is also the current matriarch of a lineage of gifted matriarchal oracles group going back 8 generations. She is available for weddings, hand fastings, house blessings, and cleansings. She is a spiritual teacher, a published author, has about every Kundalini level grandmasterness that I could go on for 10 lines here. It's just unbelievable. An Egyptian shaman, a DNA activation practitioner, a renowned published psychic and medium, tarot angel card reader and teacher, certification provider. She's a past life regression practitioner, an animal communicator, a multidimensional channeler, an angelic communicator, channeler, and healer. She's Ascended Masters communicator and channeler, conscious channeler and healer, spiritual life intuitive coach, mentor, paranormal investigator, remediator, and light language translator. Glenda is an emissary and ambassador of the Galactic Alliance, formerly the Wish Alliance, and was a member of the 2021 Metaphysical Committee for the world's largest ghost hunt ever. Glenda was the guest coordinator and participant in 2021 for the paranormal panel with Beyond Being Human Project. She has participated in a variety of live and streamed events, including not exclusively, but not exclusively, paranormal panels, sacred feminine panels, and holistic weekend retreats. She is the owner of Glenda's Magical Creations channel on the new Conscious Awakening Network on Roku. So please, well, at the end of it, we will give you her information. You look up, tongue twisting because there is so much that I can't even get out. And I've asked her before if she ever sleeps, and she doesn't, but she's here with bells on today. Great energy here to enlighten us and engage us in conversation. So beautiful. You're just
yeah. Well, you're amazing too. When you start this journey, well, I started very young, but when they push you and they say, okay, you got to do this, you may stumble a little bit, but if you pay attention and you go with the flow, it's always at the other side a lot better than you thought it would be. And that's something that even I had to learn, because being a Gemini, I am kind of like, oh, you tell me not to do something, that's kind of like a green light for me. So I've learned through the years that the more that I learn, it's not the certificates, because I don't hang any certificates in my center. I don't even have one for anything. If anybody wants to see them, they could bring them my little file that I have in my filing cabinet and show them all, but I don't hang any. Why? Because I don't want people to just look at the certificate and say, oh, she's good because she's got the certificate. I want them to experience it.
Exactly. And not have the ego. I mean, you love learning. I love learning. I haven't done as much schooling as you have, but I have built a green. I've run feng shui with Chinese. I worked in China for 7 years. I've I got a BFA in fine arts. I've got an interior design master's. I've got an architecture degree. I went to sustainability executive program to learn about sustainable living.
You,
I mean, I've been a realtor for 45 years and have flipped to buy and flip houses to make healthy homes. I don't talk about that either. I mean, I mention it because the
right,
interiors were a back through the back door to my spirituality, but we
right,
don't need that because our guides do guide us. I mean, I was
exactly.
my labby things at age 3. I was up on a craft at 5 and 6 and 10, and I've been off planet a lot in my life. But what I wanted to do was, and I was a single parent for 30 years. So I really had that as the forefront of my growth to focus on my children, but I was always
Mm-hmm.
working full time like you. But it's all about taking the next step. What do I need to know now? And I'm 71
Exactly.
and I'm still going, if I have one more day or 40 more days or 40 more years, I want to keep learning until I drop doing what I love. And it's this.
Exactly. It opens you up.
Yeah. So it
It
puts,
gives you the ability to expand,
it,
to learn,
yes.
because I'm a medium. I'm a natural medium and I study mediumship. So I have the certificate also. But everybody does it differently. And it is so refreshing to go to other classes to see how they're doing it. Because something that they're doing may resonate with me at this very moment more than what I was doing. So even channeling, I love to see other channelers to see how they connect, see what they do. How do they turn on that switch? You know, on spirituality, it is not about the journey, not about the destination, it's about the journey. How do you get there? What have you learned? How have you evolved? Most people that are truly spiritual, who have evolved the most, are the ones that go through the worst hardships.
Oh man, crash and burn. How many times have I had the 2x4 wham and go, how could I make that choice again? Because it's called strength through struggle to me anyway. And I taught my
Exactly.
kids that. How do we learn unless we can fail and say, okay, but we have to have the drive, the energy, and the want and desire to learn and to fail. And I've spent my whole
Exactly.
life doing that. And the guide started telling me early on, write a book 15, 20, 25 years ago when I was still just sort of going through some of the, going, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
who's that speaking to me? And now I talk to them. They're here guiding
Mm-hmm.
me more and more. I trust it. I love it. The few creepy things I had on having my eggs taken when I was 5 years old, who cares? Win some, lose some. And it's all for humanity. And we
Right.
understand that now. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I've taken
And
stuff
even
classes and
even
all
for
kinds of things.
ourselves,
Right,
if we heal
right.
the whole, not just, it's like a pieces of a puzzle. If one fits right, then you'll be able to fit all the other pieces. So that one person that heals themselves and is willing to heal themselves, and go through whatever they have to go through in their path to heal and evolve, it heals everyone. That energy just is shared through the whole world. Whether it's here on Earth, whether it's in a different planet, a different galaxy, in a different place, in a different dimension, the more we heal, the more everyone else heals. And, you know, you see right now, unfortunately, a lot of people going through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Sometimes, everybody thinks, okay, um, the pandemic is over, and it really isn't, because it's not that we're dying so much from that, but we're dying from the inability to be empowered. We're dying from the inability to be who we are, who we're meant to be. And so we're dying inside. You have it like an empty shell, and you can see people who are just walking through life without really engaging life, unfortunately.
Right.
And I'm hoping that they find a way to start seeing and finding what I call their tribe, because not everybody resonates with everybody. And it is fantastic when you see somebody awaken right before your eyes, and they're like, now I know what you guys meant, and I understand now. I'm experiencing this and I'm experiencing that. I have somebody that I've, been doing sessions with Reiki for about 2 years, and thank God her original illness is basically gone. But all of a sudden she awoke, she just awakened, and she's texting me like, oh, dear Lord, now I see things. No wonder. Now I understand what you were saying. And I'm like, it's wonderful. Why? Because she's seeing beyond what has been shown to her. She has decided not to limit herself and to be able to experience that universal love. Because when we awaken, we find that love frequency is all around us, and we're able to tap into it. And we're, at first it could be a little hesitant and a little scary because you don't know what's happening. But when you're starting to experience galactic entities, and when you start to experience ghosts or people from other dimensions or beings from other dimensions in general, when you start to experience angelics, when you start to experience everything, it could be overwhelming, but it also brings so much comfort. And what I keep telling everyone, if you find yourself in a place that you're having difficulty, if you're having a moment where you're just in a scary place because you don't know what to do next, find someone, talk to somebody, find somebody that calls you in your energy, you feel them out. We all
Ask
have.
for it. Ask for it. Say, I need help, which I've always done on and off, ups and downs, because the good times don't last all the time, because until we have that tribe, I saw ghosts 30 years ago. I've seen spirit animals. I had a near-death experience. I've had things along the way. But when I really started listening to my guides and started trusting, and then when COVID hit and my kids were grown, and I dove into this and went to about 100 different readers and had, regressions. And it was like, oh my God, I am just doing it. Because you can't do interiors during COVID. So
Right.
I started doing art. I did the book with Barbara Lamb. I did another book. I did, a ton of art. I've started my new life. And now I have my Palladian friends here. They come. I had an Andromedan here a couple of weeks ago checking out my art because he wanted to borrow me from the Arcturians and Palladians to do these subsurface habitats that I've been doing for a lot recently. And then really since I was age 10, they've been grooming me to, take my art and design and spirituality and psychism and some of the clairs that I'm developing even more, because I'm standing into it. I wasn't scared about just making sure my kids were okay and paying the bills. And now I'm just going, and things are going to come. I know they will. I totally trust it. But you're so right. No matter how old you are, and I had many people tell me since I was 19, you're going to wake up at 70. And last year, I'm going to be 72 in March. It was like ding dong, woohoo, wake up call, because I stepped into it and I asked for more. And now it's just a floodgate of positive going, just Mary. And then, we're doing these interviews, which we're both doing, and getting involved. And I found my tribe. And, I'm finding it, and I'm even I'm happy. I'm totally happy, and have,
And you find that happiness, it does not involve things per se.
Never
it involves something inside.
The love and the acceptance, the self-love that I finally learned to. And it's not about all those. I live in San Francisco. I'm sure you see people, this ego, the money. I know I've done work with a lot of billionaires. My family had a lot of money growing up, but they did it in moderation. I've always had nice things, but after a flood, after a fire, this was flooded about 5 years ago, and everything was destroyed. I moved out for a few months, and I went, okay, who cares? I got, I just rebuild. because
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. All these things are wake up calls for us to keep learning and to find the
exactly.
peace and know that everything really is within us. And I think I was scared to go in for a long time because of all the 94 generations of my big deal family and some of the cooties and some of the great things. And, I know since birth and well, since before, I mean, they've been watching our family and me for a long time. And I'm so grateful. I might not be here if it wasn't for their guidance and love and support at a few really bad news times that I had, and everybody goes through. But that's
Yeah,
why we're here to share that and to support
ex-
others, whatever it is, no matter how
exactly.
bad it is. We are here and you are here to
Mm-hmm.
listen, because listening is caring, and being a guide, and just say, talk about it. And I'm here to help however I can, like what you've done for
Exactly.
so long, so beautifully.
It's very hard to see somebody in need and not help them. At least it is for me. Um, they come to you and you just see that those eyes, like the deer with the headlights, that like they don't know what to do next. And you're like, okay, let's just take one step at a time, and give you, usually I give them exercises just to get them to think and take that fear out of them,
Or not
because
think,
they so
right?
right, they're focusing on what they're grateful for. They're focusing on what to do. We're focusing on what they're thinking about that day, or they're experiencing that day, instead of the fear of, oh my God, who's going to say I'm crazy, or who's gonna, I'm crazy. I know I am, and who's going to show up, and who's going to take this away, and who's going to take that away. And what I tell everybody is you need to trust yourself. That's the first thing. You trust yourself, you could trust your team. Your team consists of whoever it is your guides are and whoever else decided to join it. Because, you we're born with the 6 original guides, and then as we go along, we get, Aunt Harriet, who passed away, and she's like, oh, I could show her how to do this, and I could make sure she drives correctly, and I can make sure that she does this, and so we end up with 18. And I am very blessed with the team I have. They have accepted the fact that I am a Gemini, and I do argue with them a little bit. Um, it's
Well, my
fun.
son is a double Gemini. My former husband is a triple Gemini. So I understand there's but then of course you have everything else that goes on. That's incredible.
Right,
And your astrology and everything else, and your energy field and who you're here for.
right,
But
right.
um, so whatever we have,
Yeah.
whoever we are, we can still learn to flow and to open up
Mhm.
and to let go of
Yeah,
some of that, whatever that, all the annoying things I have and do. We can really shift.
right.
We can change our DNA,
Exactly.
change everything with
Exactly. And
right.
like you said, you're 71, right? I'm 61.
Oh,
And I just found myself actually signing up for more classes. I'm like, I must be like up here, not so good, because I have a full load of stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, a new class came up. I have a mentor in Germany, and he every once in a while, now with definitely with COVID, he moved to Germany. So now definitely with COVID, it's everything on Zoom. And I'm like, oh, I've been wanting to take this class. And he's like, don't you have enough? I'm like, never. I
yes.
could sleep in when I'm dead.
Right.
I could sleep
I have
when
a
I'm
class
dead.
tonight, and I'm the oldest and the most least advanced of spiritual people like you in it, and I don't care. I mean, I'm there to learn, and
Exactly.
I'm a newbie at all this, and if I don't know
And
something, because I don't really.
and the more you open up, the more they teach you. The more understanding you have, the more empathy you obtain, the more love you're able to share. Because let's face it, we all are part of that love energy. We come from love, we go back to love. It's that we forget here how to share it. You know, I'm sure that you have people who look at you and envy you because you're doing this, just like with me. And I'm like, why? There's no reason to envy.
Right.
You want to do this? Come on,
Do it.
let's
And if you
go.
don't, just
E-
don't. I mean, learn something
Exactly.
else, or just keep opening up, keep changing,
Exactly.
improving. I mean, whether it's belly dancing or taking a channeling
Oh,
class.
I love belly dancing. Ooh,
I took
I used
a
to
class
take that.
that one. I did too. I've taken everything. I mean, we should make a list. I've taken almost everything. That's why they say they knew that I had the courage and the skills to go. They trusted me more than I did to go off planet and start working on these habitats. And
Right.
and also I have 125 hybrid children. They like the DNA. They like parts of me that I was going, ew, I don't, it's a little, ugh. But no, I mean, I love the children and I love children. But I thought, wow, that's sort of a lot of kids. And I thought I was, pregnant my whole childhood, and some, people comments over the years. And then I just thought, you know what? I don't really care what anybody else thinks anymore. I will do it with respect and loving kindness. I'm grateful for everything, for all my wonderful kids, my earth kids, and all my on and off planet, hybrid children.
Right.
And if you don't like that I'm an ET human hybrid and I'm weird, fine. I've always been weird, and I'm sick of, like not just coming out of the closet and just, which I'm doing right now in the last couple of
Right.
years,
And that's the thing. We want to let people know that if you are hiding because you have fear, please, you could find us even and join the groups that we're in and join our tribe and join our, I teach a lot of classes. I do Reiki clinic, which is by donation. So if somebody is financially struggling, I don't stop them. I open that up. That's on Monday nights. Then on Thursday nights, I do mediumship development. No experience necessary. You come as you are, donation. You don't have it, you don't have it. I don't care. And then I do guided meditation on Friday nights because I figured people need the beginning of the week to kind of
yeah.
balance and have some healing. The end of the week, let go of all that energy that they have accumulated that's so negative because of the hustle and bustle of having to work a few jobs because one isn't paying enough and just whatever it is. And people look at me like, you're crazy for doing that. I said, no, that's what I like to do. I love to share that way. I'm going to teach the class, whether there's one person or 100 people, right? So what is the difference?
Well,
There, at
also,
some point or another,
right.
people are going to donate what they can. And at that point, good. That's how my bills get paid. I
And
don't,
trusting that's so beautiful too. I want to take all those classes, particularly, and for Friday night, I love that. I'd love to take all those. I would, and I'll talk to you about that later.
yeah,
I think also for Friday nights, for people to get grounded instead of, going out, people can drink or do drugs or do whatever they want to do. But
right.
going into the weekend, I've always loved being home Friday night. I've never liked parties. I'm a homebody. I like to go out and learn something or go to an art gallery where I can hear someone
Mm-hmm.
speak or something. But that's wonderful that each one of those sort of taps into different parts of people. And Friday night to find some balance and some anchoring in, so you don't feel like you have to go out and get wild, like everybody this post-COVID. Well, yeah, like you say, COVID's going to be around forever. Everything's going to be around forever,
Yep.
hopefully. We have to heal ourselves, go with this flow of sort of
Mm-hmm.
self-love and helping protect ourselves, our family, others that come to us to
Exactly.
we do to other people. I mean, if I didn't have these last couple of years of talking to you and other people, I think I wouldn't have had the courage to even be here sitting talking to you. But I've learned so much from you and a lot of others.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
I've learned a lot from our,
total
yeah,
inspiration of all these people that have the courage to talk about. I mean, I can remember
yeah.
going to a Starseed class a few years ago and saying, well, I want to know about implants, hybrids, and my, I don't call it abduction. I called it my contact at age 5 and 6 and 10 and a lot since then.
Mm-hmm.
But, And they said, ew, it's like, and I went, oh my God, you guys are in the spiritual world. If you don't want to talk about that's fine. I understand that. Can you guide me to somebody that can? Because know, I know what I want to know, and I don't
Right.
know what I want to know, but I know I want to know everything because I don't feel like I know
Right.
anything. And I feel more of that every day. And with more information coming out every day from the cosmos to
Mhm.
your gifts and everybody's gifts, I mean, it's just unbelievable. There's so many safe places and fun places and interesting places to learn, like what you provide 3 days a week and in your readings. So,
Mhm.
that's you're such a gift to womankind and humankind and mankind to
Mankind.
offer from woman power to all kind, the
Well,
oneness.
I do have a little thing about women should stick with each other, not against each other. And
Oh man,
I
yeah.
have found there's a lot of them that for some reason they feel like you're threatening instead of trying to help each other up. We sometimes want to bring each other down, which
That
is a
was
shame.
very interesting. Well, I'm in the middle of three girls, and I had a strong mom and a wonderful grandmother, and a lot of help that was around the house. And I had so much fun with the help. I learned a lot from them. But women too can be very judgmental. And I've been
Yes.
single for a long time, and people say, "Oh well, I don't know if I can invite you over for dinner with my husband and people." And it's like, "Are you kidding? I would never. I mean, ew! If you don't know me well enough by now, but." And then how can you be doing this, conscious awakening on Roku and talking about your
Yeah.
life? And I said, well, if I had known more of what I've gone through, and I felt shame and guilt and anger for my whole life because nobody talked to me about the
Hmm.
friends when I was told I was crazy 1,000 times, and then I just was shut out. But my dad, was in the government and in NASA and stuff. He couldn't talk to me, but nobody else ever talked to me once about it until really over the years when I did some readings and past life stuff over the last like 30 or 40 years, but not till recently have all the floodgates opened at this time that
Hmm.
you can pick up the phone, you can talk to anybody almost anywhere today. If you have
Hmm.
a good gut and a good intuition, and call Glenda. If it just, there's so much help and support there now, more than we've ever had. It's so cool to be alive right now and to be
Right.
all these services available, like you, who, if you take $20 or you take $100 or, this is what we're here to do. I'm starting to take
Hmm.
our clients and stuff. And I just want to help whoever I can. I worked with homeless and vets for 40, 50 years. I've taught kids about art and design and painting and really psychology and spirituality through some of the books I did before that. So whatever we have, everybody has gifts to share.
Everybody has gifts to share, and everybody could share without even coming fully out of the closet, because you see some schools now that I have taken up, toddlers and kindergarten and first graders, they teach them meditation. And those kids are calmer. They are able to think clear. They're able to focus, where you see the other kids that don't have the advantage of meditation.
Right.
Now, and it's a simple thing like just meditation. You don't have to meditate every day for 30, 40, 50 minutes or an hour. 5 minutes of breathing, just nice, slow breathing to let your body catch up, let your mind catch up. Just turn everything off for a minute, and just by doing that, you'll find that you're able to handle whatever gets thrown at you a lot easier.
Right. Well, because our kids learn from us, and if they hear fighting and yelling, and they don't learn about healthy diet, healthy exercise, healthy mind, body,
Mhm.
spirit. I mean, my kids are 32 and 34 now, and they went to schools here in California. I had them bus over to Marin to go to Marin Country Day School, where they taught meditation back then. And we've spent
Mhm.
a lot of time camping. My kids have always been involved in sports. I still play tennis with, during the week, every week for my exercise.
Mhm.
I hike, I bike, I sail. I mean, I was down at the beach yesterday for 2 hours. We have to
Oh, don't tease me.
connect
Don't tease me.
anymore. Sorry.
We're having like 30-degree weather over here. Okay.
No,
Don't
that's
tease
why I've been
me.
in California for 40 years, because I mean, a lot of people think there's issues here, but for now, I'm really happy, and the beach is 5 minutes away. And I grew up on Lake Michigan and in Florida on the water. And the first God I found when I was born literally was the water. We had a Lake Michigan in our backyard, and I have a little swimming pool at the top of my building. I bought this place 15 years ago. It's an old 1960s building, but my criteria was 10-foot ceilings, bigger outdoor space than indoor space. My patio, you can see there, is 1,200 square feet. This inside is only one bedroom, was 1,000 square feet, but I have a rooftop view and a pool where I see from the Presidio Trust, where my son is in forestry, to Salesforce, where my daughter works. I go up there and nobody's ever up there. And I have my outdoor, tea and coffee every morning at 5 a.m. under the stars out there. So you don't have to, and the beach is free. The trees are free. I grew up with really, the frequency of God. I did marathons. I camped out. My parents were fancy and they didn't really like that, but that's why I moved to Colorado for college when I was 19. So I could have nature as my teaching, and while I was doing all these incredible jobs and work there, which I loved. But I think you're right. We have what we can't find within us until we find that within us. And I'm just learning some of that right now, as you know. Just look outside, walk, be outdoors, eat well, try to sleep more. People are stressed out, and not stressed. Is my dad, who passed. I've been talking to him a lot this year. And I said, what's different now, Dad? I know you were a rocket scientist and you had this incredible life. He said, well, then the ETs came and had a talk with me right before I passed up at Sonoma Acres at his Alzheimer's place. He said, he told me some things about my family and about my life, and answered some questions that I was always sort of confused about, even though I was grateful for doing all the work that he did with, Werner von Braun and traveling, and took us to Africa. But he said, you've done so many of those things, like what we tried to show you, the love of nature, being outdoors, love of space, love of construction and design and architecture. My mom's dad was an architect, and he was a rocket scientist. So I always loved earth, space, and outer space. And then he has a ton of hybrid children, and he started talking to me, this last year, about his beautiful relationship his whole life with our galactic family that I had never known about till 6 months ago. I knew he was different and sort of odd, like I am, which sort of not social, but very active and busy and wanting to focus on what we care about. But that's all we need to do, is look inside and say, what do I really want to do on the back nine? I'm a golfer too. The back nine, is the rest of life. And there's so many things I want to do and learn that I hope I can, I'll just go until the next time comes around. I'll learn other things then that I didn't accomplish here. So
exactly. The idea is just to keep evolving.
yes.
And that's basically what we came here for, to heal and evolve. And hopefully by the time that we leave, we're in a much higher frequency than when we started out. I know that mankind can be very brutal, and living in this 3D earth is extremely hard. But if you focus on what's good, yes, we had the pandemic, but look at all the good stuff that has come out of this. We have made friends worldwide because we all started joining things on Zoom. We have established relationships that before we wouldn't have never clicked. We would have never found each other. We have been learning a lot more. We have learned people's experiences. We have learned how to be grateful and how to appreciate those around us and the things we have and the things we don't have. Where before we were just going. So the universe or the earth needed a stop, look and listen. And Yeah, okay, whatever, however it got here. If you take that and you say, okay, a lot of good things did come out of it. A lot of relationships that needed to split up because, the one person said, I'm done with this abuse. That's it. So they stood up for themselves. The relationships that needed to get closer got closer. I see a lot of good things. I'm not saying there wasn't a lot of bad things because I had to do a lot of last rites, as they call them, and I had to do a lot of um, funerals, basically, and all that. But I feel that there's a lot of good that came out of all this. We
Oh,
wouldn't have met, Mary.
oh, it's been the best tipping point, really. When so many people were sick and dying, we learned how to appreciate the isolation in a
Yeah.
hospital. We got more
Hmm.
compassion for the doctors and those
Yep.
kids when the policeman would be driving by honking at little kids.
Right.
People were forced inside their homes, trapped,
Yes.
isolated, confined. They hadn't spoken. Women, have obviously the Industrial Revolution came, and now women are out
Right.
working as much as men, or more so. People were living at coffee houses and going out, and we had to stop. And I think that was a really good. We had to go stop, go inside. We were forced inside. We would have never
Yep.
done that on our own. And it reminded me of when I worked on space station interiors decades ago of isolation and confinement. It was similar. I can't get out. I can't go have a drink. I don't have any freedom. And then we learned that we had the Me Too movement right around then, and Black Lives Matter, and
Hmm.
people protested, and all these young kids and the killings, and just this whole last few years, it was
Yeah.
people were forced to go inside and look at the dark. And I did. And I'm so glad I did, because now
Hmm.
I'm free more than ever in my life to go, oh my God, I was really awful to him or her, and heal my own wounds from a
Right.
lack of, but until we were forced to be home, and I was so lucky to have that right there, which everybody used to call me and say, can I come over? And I go, sorry, still cooties walking through a building. I have people in the building, and I have a side entrance. And people say, can I come over and hang out on your patio or up by the pool? And I go, nope, no cooties in my place. But we learned, and it's 52 card pickup. We're looking at religion differently, our
Right.
politics, our financial
Yep.
systems are crashing and burning. We have to stop it and flip the whole thing over again, to look at our bodies, our minds, our
Hmm.
spirits, how we've been killing Mother Earth over our generation for the South 70 years. And so I think it is, and to wake us up at this incredible time,
Yeah, it
26,000.
is. And we're getting angelics as the first time coming into this world. I mean, that wave already started to come.
Okay,
We
talk
have
about that.
children.
I know you're an angel thing. I've only seen one angel, and
Well,
tell us about, because
well,
you're
we
way on
have
the forefront.
angelic beings that um, were told to come and rescue humans. We needed saving and we needed healing, and they have decided to come in meat suits. They decided to incarnate for the first time ever.
About
About half of them,
when did this start to you? Because
well, this was told to me right before COVID. And then COVID hit, and now there is half of what was intended to come. So we have done some of the work ourselves. That's the way I look at it. We still have a lot to go through, but we have actually been able to accomplish some of the healing. So they're coming, and they started coming around January. They're kids. Now, it isn't every child that's a new soul per se, but there are some kids that are very special. You can see it in their eyes, like their eyes glitter,
and they are
shine.
indigo. They are the new human. They are so smart,
Oh,
so curious. I mean, I read them books, and they go, "Oh, we already know." We were.
yeah.
I
And
remember
and
my
you're
past
like,
life when I was there. Then it's like, whoa. I mean, you've talked way more than I have, but I've encountered a couple
and
dozen,
they're
and it's
they're
mind blowing.
they're curious. They're opening up their eyes like right away. They're looking all around right away, even babies. And you're like, wow, I don't remember my kids ever doing that. Okay, they're way advanced. And they could tell um, the energies, and they could tell, they express themselves very well. I would have been very blessed to have been granted a ability to talk to them when they're in embryo. So when I talk to them, I know which ones are already assigned. Like I know which ones are the guardians, which ones are going to be the warriors, which ones are going to be the speakers, the ones that are going to be the loudest, which ones are going to be the fighters, the protectors. Each one of them has a different path, a different job. But when they combine, and they're coming, it's going to be this year and next year. They're all coming, and it's going to be all around the earth. And when they're ready, there isn't going to be anything able to stop them, because their mission is to straighten this earth out before we harm it more and we destroy it ourselves. Earth will be here. We're going to destroy ourselves. Earth will just recycle the pesticides and, the past, get rid of all the past and get rebirth and come back. It's us who won't be able to come back here to learn and evolve. And this is one of the places where you learn and evolve fastest, for our lessons. Why? Because there is so much density and it's so much negativity. So many bad things happen to you that you get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to learn. It's all how you see it and how you accomplish things and how you manage it. We all go through car accidents. We all go through sickness. We all go through loved ones dying. We all go through bad relationships. We all go in one form or another through abuse. We all go through heartaches and pain and all this other stuff. Times where the money isn't there. Times where we're trying to figure out what to do. We all go through all that.
But everybody does. We're
yeah,
born, we
the
die,
idea.
Stuff, right? It's
Right.
dysfunctional. All families have dysfunction. I mean, there's nothing new, as my dad was saying to me all year. He said, Mary, fear and love have been the two around forever. It's nothing new, and love is coming in now because we need it so much. He said, we had a loving family. Sure, we were all weird and different. Dad and I particularly were, because he said, you got my wiring. I went, oh my gosh, that's such a gift and so crazy. But, he said, love and fear have always been here. People have to remember that everybody goes through all the same crap, get over it and just keep, striving to learn a little bit more, be a little kinder. He said,
right.
And of course it was frequency, then it was consciousness, and now it's love. And, we go through the cycles as we need them.
Right.
And we need love now. We really need love and universal love. And that's where the oneness is coming together because of the frequency, the energy, and all the even.
And this is why those angelics are coming in.
Yes.
Because they're going to be the epitome of love. Like, you go near them and you're going to feel that love. You're not going to say, oh, that person really loved me. You're going to just, it's going to be oozing out of them. And, by them coming, it's a way of us relearning. And this oneness term has been around for a long time, but we haven't really been practicing it.
No, we haven't
really been managing it correctly. We think oneness is.
It's been judgment. We grew up with a whole lot of judgment. I used to call it, even as a little girl, judgment as religion. And I thought, why is a Catholic worse than a Jewish person? I mean, because, and it was like, why? And I always say to my parents, why are all these same kind of people at our home? And, I always spent my whole life sort of searching out others, because I always was felt weird anyway, because I am and different. But you're so right. I mean, that's why love is here now. And it always was, but the kids are coming, the angels are coming, all the beings are sitting up there watching us, helping us, guiding us, navigating us to help ourselves, because they can
come back to the real
Yes.
Right, to come back to our reality. You know, we have put into place this reality that we have to be better than the other person, or I'm better than they are, or you're no good, and this and that.
Competition and the money, the greed. I mean, it's gotten to such extremes, as we know,
Right.
that it's killing.
Yes, and we
People are killing
we
each other
understand
on
that
the street.
everybody has a different experience, and there's some people who have to experience money. There's some people that have to experience poverty because they each have to balance out their lessons. We all have to balance out our lessons, but let's face it, a lot of people that go up come down. A lot of people that are, are up go down and go back up. It's just the way it is. It's a roller coaster. It isn't always, you have very little percentage that stay all the way up all the whole time. Very little in this world. There are a lot of rich people that, although they have all the money in the world, they're suffering.
Not happy.
They're not feeling good. They don't love their life. They don't love themselves. They don't love their families. They don't love what they have. They cannot even appreciate what they have. And then you have, you know, the other side that is saying, oh, those rich people. Well, you know what? Everybody's got their
Stuff.
trials.
Problems. Yeah.
Everybody, yeah, everybody has their problems. Everybody has to go through their thing.
And their karma. I mean, it's a mixture. It's a bouillabaisse of what we have to not fix, but look at and address. And I kept thinking, oh my God, I have more. You know, it's like a tsunami of
and let's face it, we came in naked, we're going to go back out naked, right?
yes.
Basically.
Yes, I love that.
It isn't like we could take the car and the diamond rings with us. I mean, yeah, they could put them in the casket, but you can't take them with you. They'll still be in the
we
casket.
just want to make people feel. I never cared about, I mean, give me, you know, goodwill. I mean, you know, I mean,
I don't care.
I've never cared about any of that. I just always wanted to just feel that I was using my skills. I wanted to make others feel better more than I did. And I've sort of had to learn that balance in my own life, because I used to give so much, it was almost overkill. So I think it always is balance of love and then the boundaries. And I think that's what a lot of what COVID did. I mean, delineated who we are. I'm not going to accept this anymore. And everybody was rebelling. It was great. Everybody had a voice. And the people who didn't, maybe they will now. Maybe they'll get it soon, because you couldn't go through it not being touched by being empowered.
Yeah. You have to
Like
have felt some empowerment.
Right.
Yeah, some empowerment for sure. And it's great to see even the younger generation. I mean, they don't take anything.
No, they don't.
And I am so proud of them, because unfortunately some stay behind and they feel the isolation and the loneliness and all that. And I'm hoping that they reach out, but I am so proud of those young kids. You know, a lot of people used to say, oh, the young kids are always getting in trouble. They're the ones that are saving our butt now.
They are our leaders of the future. They are the ones that we have to be role models for. We have to be strong for them and teach them well and give them the education and the schooling. My daughter, my son just got their MBAs the last few years. And I said, as long as I will pay for anything, as long as it's going to add value to your life and to the community at large. And you know, every step of the way, we have to say, you know, we got to have a conversation about this, because it's this or it's this. And what are your priorities? What are your short-term and long-term goals? I mean, there have to be conversations. And, you know, I was sitting at the head of the table at age 5 when my kids were 5 and 6, and I'd never done that. I grew up, you know, and not that half the world is that. And, you know, men are seeing, you know, grandparents are raising kids now. I mean, it's nothing new that we've been through, all of us, through different stuff. But we have so much support now, even though people don't necessarily maybe feel like it. I've started asking for things more and more. I mean, I did really surrender the last couple of years. And I'm so glad. I wish I'd started earlier to just really let go and be guided.
But you know what? This is the time.
It is the time.
This is the time.
Yes, it is. And
So you had to go through your stuff so you could get to this time.
right.
That's the way I look at it. I had to go through whatever I went through to get here at this very moment. And when you look back, or at least when I look back, I really wouldn't have changed anything
Oh, I wouldn't have ever
because
changed anything because
I,
each mistake, it was a lesson. Everything, I loved all of it. My big
yeah,
goofy life, I've loved. People go, God, you're so resilient. You always are reinventing yourself. I said, well, what's the opportunity? What's the choice anyway? I don't want to sit and be angry and isolated and boring and bored
and bitter.
and bitter and angry
Yeah,
about everything. If you don't like something, try to change it. Get help. Ask.
exactly.
Reach
And
inside. Get services.
start trusting.
Right.
Start trusting.
Trust. Yeah.
Trusting yourself. I'm not saying trust everybody that's around you because unfortunately not everybody is in the same page as you. But trust yourself, trust your gut. If you go to someone and you get a nice feeling, warm feeling, then you could probably trust them to ask for some type of help, to ask them for their opinion, to ask for some knowledge. I have gone to places where I walk in and walk back out because I get that feeling in my gut that's like it gets like a rock and I'm like, okay, gotta go.
And sometimes it's 1 second. It usually is.
Yep.
I mean, we can read it pretty quickly. We want to
Yeah.
surround ourselves with like-minded people who will encourage us to be the best and allow us to grow, help us grow, that support us. A mutual reciprocal relationship built out of the foundation and blueprint of loving and kindness and support and love. And I think a lot of people are, like you've said, and we were talking about today, is it's people are afraid of being alone. Don't be afraid of being alone because it's better alone if you're not in a good situation. You can
Yes.
always find help. I've helped start art therapy and suicidal things and women in Boulder homes and started the Ronald McDonald House here. And you make a shift and then the next step is a little bit easier to open up to get your confidence. And then you keep finding your tribe more and more, and you go, oh, I don't feel so lonely anymore. I can be alone.
Yeah,
I'd never felt that. But I felt lonely, of course, on and off
right.
of my lifetime. And my beings have helped me so much with that, and people like you. But so we have a
Yeah.
few more minutes.
Before I forget,
Yes.
I do want to say that Archangel Metatron is with you always, and he's
Oh,
always on the left-hand side,
that's my
right
love.
there. Yeah.
Oh, he is. Oh, what? Tell
Yeah.
me what he's saying because I can't read him. What's he saying?
Well, he is basically there for you, not as, because everybody thinks he's the angel of death. He really isn't the angel of death. He's actually the angel that takes the soul from here to the next level. But so he's not the actual angel of death. He allows you to die
I die
naturally.
someday. So if it's tomorrow or in 30 years, I'm fine with
Right.
it. So
But he is there to remind you that you are you. And he's also there to say, not to be afraid, like you said, not to be afraid of anything. That he's one of the people that guides that have actually given you the courage to do what you're doing.
thank you so
Because
much. Oh, I
he's
appreciate that.
and he's in I think it's funny because he's like spreading his wings. I'm like, oh stop. Yeah.
Spread on. Thank you. I love you. I love you. I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, he's
Oh
one
my,
of the ones that actually, you sometimes feel like there's a hug around you.
yes, I do. A lot.
That's him. That's him. He takes his wings and he covers you. So just so you know, because I'm seeing him and I'm like, okay.
Oh, thank you for taking me on. Easy. Oh, I love you. God, what a beautiful, beautiful note to almost end on. Oh my
Uh,
gosh. And the best note to end on is how everybody can get in touch with this beautiful Glenda here.
well, you could
Magical
go to,
creation. So
yes, glendasmagicalcreations.com. You can reach me there. You can reach me on Facebook, Glenda Dawson or Glenda's Magical Creations. Glenda's Dragon's Den, which is my other podcast. You can find me on YouTube, Glenda's Magical Creation, Glenda's Dragon's Den on YouTube. You could find me on TikTok. You could find me on Instagram.
You're
I'm everywhere,
Yay.
everywhere, everywhere. So you could just, look for me and you'll see my face because I don't hide behind a picture. So I have my face finally out there because, a few years back till about 2014, I was always had just a picture of a flower or something. And then I'm like, no, I'm putting myself up.
Well, good
That's
for
it.
you too. You blossomed out. You
Yeah.
blossomed out to the stage. Well, you are a beautiful, giving, light pillar. You still, I have goosebumps all over me right now from just this time together. So please contact Glenda. And again, thank you for spreading such beauty and love today to me and whoever's listening. I'm so grateful for you. And thank you for filling my light and my heart up today. My cup runneth over.
And you're welcome. And thank you for having me. It's always lots of fun to speaking with you.
All righty. Well,
Thank
take
you very
care.
much.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thank you. And for all you out there, take care of yourselves and everyone around you. We've got to do that through the holiday season, particularly this year. So lots of love to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.